Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Laps Down podcast. I'm your host, MJ.
And I'm Andrea. That was so fun.
Wasn't it? I practice it sometimes. I'm like, hello, everybody.
Yeah. No,
I'm a fan.
That was good. Hey, she listens to every episode, y'all. Mostly to make sure I edited out all the things I said I was going to.
Yep.
We are back again, just a NASCAR race this weekend. F1 and IndyCar, they wanted to take a little break, as if they've earned it. Okay, NASCAR's
they deserve
racing
it
every weekend while you guys are just hanging out. But
embarrassing.
Yeah, they're having a good laugh at it and just, goofing off, not even racing. But we do have some gossip. If you guys are new here to Laps Down Podcast, welcome. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. MJ made a wonderful note here, which is that we're going to lose TikTok again, probably, maybe. So you guys might want to follow us on Instagram at Laps Down Pod, or else I don't know how on earth you're going to know what's going on. And also, maybe leave us a review if you haven't. I don't know, Spotify, Apple Pod. They let you do this thing where you put 5 stars and it tells everybody else how much they should listen to the podcast. So it's very helpful. We had an extra episode last week. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people were excited about our guest, which was NASCAR John. He is a fan favorite of me and MJ's, and also apparently everybody else. And that was exciting to see. I also have a note here. We got shouted out by the Rubbin' is Racing pod on Barstool, and I just felt like that was the nicest anybody associated with Barstool would ever be about my existence. So I just thought that was a W for me and you guys. I think that was fun.
That was nice. Someone told us that we were shouted out by, quote, Large Barstool is his name. Mm-hmm. His name is Large. Right. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
I was like, no.
It's okay. I don't think Barstool's going to like us very much. But they were very nice.
It was nice.
So I'm basically, I don't know about you. I bragged to my whole family. I was like, yeah, I'm basically famous now.
Yeah, I sent the clip in the family group chat, and they were like, who's Laps Down and what is this podcast? I was like, hey, guys.
It's actually mine.
It's all right. We can keep it casual.
Yeah. Especially the part where he said 2 beautiful ladies. I was like, yeah, that's me for sure. Most people, when they think of me, they think beautiful lady.
Beautiful lady. All the audio listeners are like, I don't even know what they look like.
No, they have video now on Spotify, MJ.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, it's just Apple Podcast listeners. They're like, I would rather never see
I don't know.
This.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Hey, fair enough.
So let's get started with F1. Oh my God. Red Bull just is so annoying. The way you run your entire organization just gives me like a stress rash. But it's apparently for sure, allegedly confirmed. I don't know. That Yuki officially replaced Liam. Where are we at on this, MJ?
I think it's #confirmed.
Well, yeah, I think he's been posted on the Red Bull account now.
Yeah, it's they said bye Liam, hello Yuki, and then V-Carb is like, okay, hi Liam, happy to have you back, I guess.
Yeah, he's back, guys. That was so fun that he did that little excursion over there for a little bit, just 2 races. But I don't know. Liam did bad, sure. 2 races. That's little cocky Red Bull that you're making the right call.
It's that's embarrassing. That's a huge, because I feel like we saw Red Bull start to crumble when they started to lose, is where we were like, okay, things are crumbling. But even then, it's just sometimes you lose. And now after last year, Checo kept going, hey, the car's fucked. And everyone was like, no, because Max is doing fine. Liam gets in the car and it's like, hey, I think the car might be fucked. And everyone's like, no, we'll put Yuki in there. It'll be fine. It's
I don't know. I think it's evident they don't have a long-term plan. I heard another podcast make this analogy, and I think it was a good one. Shout out Late Breaking Podcast, okay? I'll give you guys a shout out because it was this good of an analogy. They were like, if you put a light bulb in a lamp and the light bulb doesn't work, and then you try another light bulb and that light bulb doesn't work, and maybe you even try a third light bulb and that light bulb doesn't work, at what point do you go, maybe it's the lamp? Maybe it's the lamp.
That's good. Wow. That is good.
No, I know. It's fucking senior English class in here. That was a great metaphor. I just think like, I mean, luckily Yuki has the benefit here of there is no losing in this, I think. If he does good, then he does good. Yuki's the savior of Red Bull. Everybody will love him. If he does bad, like basically he could get 20th place and he would still be doing the same as Liam. So it's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, he can't do worse. Like, it's physically not possible for him to do worse. Unless he DNFs, knock on wood. But,
I mean...
And then Helmut Marko's coming out and being like, well, first of all, fucking Helmut Marko, dude. Retire. Like,
please.
He should go send him to the Margaritaville retirement home or something at this point. Like,
no, he would stress out all of those parrot heads, bro. He would be like, ruining the vibe for sure. He
for sure hates margaritas.
Dude, if there was ever a person to hate margaritas, it's Helmut Marko.
It would be Helmut Marko. Fuck, dude. But he came out and he's like, no, Yuki's going to be in the seat for the rest of the season. And immediately I was like, well, that's how we know Yuki's definitely not going to be in the seat for the rest of the season. But that's probably what makes me the most nervous. Is like, I don't expect him to do well in that car just because we know the car sucks. I'm nervous if they did decide to replace him that they wouldn't put him back in V-Carb, that would be the end of Yuki's F1 career unless like someone else snatched him up, which could potentially happen.
What if everybody, like collective action here, what if all the team principals come together and they go, you're not firing Yuki. You're insane. This is like malpractice. Like you're not allowed. Like
legally,
all 9
can't happen.
All of the other team principals are just like, sorry, you have to live with this decision that you've made for the rest of the season. Because at this point, you're stressing us all out, and Yuki does not deserve to be seatless. So
yeah,
and we don't have spots for him at the moment. So you guys are
have to
live with that.
I know there's like the Dale Coyne rule, which I hate. I hate the Dale Coyne rule in IndyCar, where you can only have like 2 drivers a season. Is there one in F1, or can they just go through them like candy? Like I know, obviously, is there a salary cap in F1?
No. They have like the cost cap, but I think the cost cap excludes the
just for
salaries of the drivers. Right. And it also excludes like the top salaries of non-drivers, like the team principal salary and like Adrian Newey's salary, for example, like isn't part of Aston Martin's cost cap. Whatever. All this to say,
okay,
money is not an issue. Points aren't an issue. It's like they won't win the drivers' championship if they get put in halfway through, but like that's obviously not what we're trying to do here. I think it's fine for the constructors championship in the fact of like you can do it. It's just like not, I think it's like at the point where it's like it's not recommended. I wouldn't probably just do it.
Shooting yourself in the foot. Like this isn't helping at all. Like you being like, let's throw another like at this point, why maybe you should have just kept Checo.
No,
like you already had him signed. I mean, I think Checo got the good end of the stick getting out of there, for sure. But at this point, why did we get rid of Checo if we didn't make any changes to the car? Like, Checo was not the issue all the time.
Financially, too, because of the Checo thing. Because I think that they had to buy Checo out of his contract. And then what's even worse is I think Honda offered them money to put Yuki in the Red Bull seat. And they denied that money to put Liam in the seat. So they had to, I think, buy Checo out. This is all rumor.com, the remix. Okay, guys? Like, there is no way this is verified information. I am just saying shit that I saw online. Okay? Mm-hmm. Just clarifying that. But I saw that they obviously had to buy Checo out of his contract because he had extended before he got fired, which was the beginning of the dumbest shit Red Bull has ever done, was offering him a 2-year extension while he was actively not scoring points. That was crazy. Right. They had to buy him out of that. And then they were so serious about Liam being better that they didn't even take just the cash grab from Honda. Like, I love Yuki, and Yuki's a great driver. He is also a pay driver. They could have literally just taken the money and then gotten somebody who would have done meh in the car, which is like fine. I feel bad for Liam though, because he has no power in this situation because he's not a pay driver. He doesn't have the Honda deal. He doesn't have the merch sales that Checo had. He had nothing worth them keeping him. He actually had to just be there to score points. He has nothing, no sugar on top.
Frankly, that was the one thing he wasn't doing. He was doing the TikToks for the team. He was showing up to events. He was in North Carolina with Noah Gragson. He got that haircut, and he just couldn't score points.
Honestly, that's the best thing that's come out of this entire experience for me personally, is that we no longer have to watch Liam Lawson do this all the time. For the audio listeners, it's where he would take his greasy paws and rub them through his hair at all times and make his hair like Draco Malfoy slick back. Red Bull was like, we're not having any of that. And they gave him the hot, like, NSYNC boy band look.
The spiky.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that, Red Bull. It's like America's Next Top Model, where they give you a makeover and then they kick you off the show.
Have you ever thought about going a buzz cut but red? And then they're like, yeah, you're not going to make it to the next round. You are actually going to V-carb.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I might have ruined your life with that makeover. Who knows? Have fun down there. Bye. I don't know. I don't usually feel bad for Liam. He does have a way of making himself unlikable, which is unfortunate because he is in a situation right now where he could be getting a lot of empathy from everybody if he was in people's good graces. But he did get empathy from Max.
You know what? Wait, before you transition, that's an amazing transition, by the way. That is really good. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna halt it.
It's good.
Because I didn't even think about that before you said it, is like the empathy that I felt towards, okay, this isn't going to be a great example because I was a Logan Sargent fan, but like when Logan got booted, he was not performing well. He was in a bad car, but I was still like, oh, shoot. Because like, you know, I liked Logan. I mean, even with Danny, I was like, yeah, no, he's not. He's out of his prime. Car's not great. You know, we're not doing great.
But like, you're like, he's getting out there and trying.
Yeah. But like with Liam, the anger or the emotion that I feel like a lot of people have had, I mean, obviously you've seen like the sympathetic posts to his situation of like being cut after 2 races, but I think most people are just pissed off at the sport and at Red Bull, but not really feeling that like sadness for Liam. Well, because, and to be fair, he does still technically have a job, but
maybe a better
I don't know that.
He might have like a Pierre Gasly moment where it's like after you get demoted, you go and win a race.
I could see that.
Like this could probably is like a gift from above that he got sent back down. Oh, maybe that's why we all are like, we all know in our heart that he'll be fine. Better off.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he wasn't. If anything, they saved him. He's going to have so much fun or I guess it's not fucking V-carb anymore, it's Racing Bulls. He's going to have so much fun in Racing Bulls, filming TikToks with Isaac, having a car that can drive. Those cool, sparkly suits that they always have in Vegas.
Yeah, it's really important, I think, that you have a vehicle that operates as a vehicle. And I think that...
Sure.
Right, I think that V-carb has that nailed down a little bit more than Red Bull.
Yeah.
He's like, what if I could turn the car and it would just go the direction I turned it, but like at a normal pace, like not jerky and into a wall? That would be sick.
And the engineers were just like, hey, whoa. Did we ask for your opinion? I know we did, but Max can drive the car. If Max can drive the car... It's like, you guys are killing me. Max could drive anything. We could put a potato out there and, like, dig out the insides. He would hop in it, and he'd get, like, P12. Like, he would be fine in literally anything.
I just think, like, there is no way, unfortunately, to end this, like, so to speak, Red Bull curse until 2026 when the regulations kick in. I think whoever's in the seat, whether it be Yuki, whoever the fuck else they find to replace him with, whatever, they're all going to be fucked. Goodbye. They're all fucked. But in 2026, if you're listening, Red Bull, you have to tell Max no. Max is going to tell you, can you build me the most insanely undrivable car of all time? And you're going to say anything you want, Max. And then you're going to be in the same situation forever. There's never going to be a solution. You have to make a car that 2 people can drive. Max will still win the championship. That's what I'm like, why are we even doing this? I know they don't care about the Constructors' Championship, but it's like, you have to care a little because at this point, it's embarrassing. You have somebody in 2nd and somebody in 20th.
Well, and Max doesn't like the car. Like, and as we said, Max can drive anything. So if he's driving a Red Bull that's an absolute bitch to drive every weekend, why doesn't he just go over to Aston Martin? Or why doesn't he go to Mercedes or wherever? Like, he could go anywhere. Yeah. Anyone would take him. So it's like,
imagine the mess they're going to be in if in 2026 they build a car to the new regulations for Max, and then Max leaves in 2027. And then they're left with like this hunk of fucking junk.
Wait a minute. I'm into that.
Oh my God. I just like, I'm like, I need like Max to just like issue a formal statement and be like, all these people hating on me and my name saying that I wanted them to make the car like this. I don't even like it either. I don't even like it either. Stop bringing me into it. Speaking of Max liking statements, I knew I was going to bring it back around.
Wow.
ESPN F1. What is this account? Like, what is this account? What do you speak on it, MJ? What's your beef with ESPN F1?
It's so like tabloidy to the point of like it feeds into the gossip. Like, I understand that like 90% of Formula One is gossip. Like that's what they run on, not ethanol, gossip. And so when you have like an ESPN account and they're posting like, did you see that Max like this tweet? Like trying to, or like this, I think it was an Instagram post.
Did you?
They're trying to stir up drama.
Somebody else's Instagram post. I was like, hey,
how did you?
Like
first of all,
full-time job that you guys have. Like, what's going on here?
You had your graphic designer make a graphic for this post. Like, just everything that went into it feels so like Dumois. And it's like an ESPN official account. I was like, you're just, what's your purpose here? What are we doing here? But of course it gets bajillions of likes and whatever.
And I liked it. Sorry. But the thing is too, is that it's like it's crushing it. Every time they do something like this, it's like a little bit closer to crushing the personality completely out of F1 drivers. Because like now Max is like, okay, fuck me. I can't even subtweet my fucking team anymore without everybody making a big deal out of it. He was like, I literally just wanted to be petty and like this little fucking post about how I hate my team and the entire organization, and now everybody wants to make a big deal out of it. It's like, no, Max, be free.
Do whatever you want. Do it and do it on main. Be petty on main. Don't go to your burner account. Be petty on main, please, Max. I don't know. That just kind of gave me the ick. But also, I feel like what?
Speaking of burner, because we both know Max does not have a burner account. Do you remember when I went through? I might have to cut this out. Do you remember when I went through all the accounts he followed and sent them to you?
Yeah. Maybe a man should get a burner.
Yeah, I think he could benefit from a burner. That's all I'm going to say, guys. There were some funny ones in there. There were some
weird ones
in there. What's going on here, Max? Okay, I'll like just read a little bit of I'll read the vibe of what Max liked. How about that? I'm not going to read it word for word, but I'll give you guys the vibe. Basically, it's just all these people saying that F1 is the toughest sport in terms of performance, and that if you underdeliver, you're going to get fired. Sure, the pressure's insane, but at this point, it comes closer to bullying or a panic move that actual Okay, hey, what's up? Can't read.
You got this. No, you got this. I can't read either.
Comes closer to bullying or a panic move than an actual high athletic achievement. I think this isn't on me. I think this is on the author.
No, and I mean, you can see, guys, we put it in I copied and pasted it into our doc, and you can see all the red underlines. Like, this was just written in haste. I'm not even sure if they speak, like, if English is their first language. So they're basically saying this whole thing is pathetic, and it seems more like bullying than being like, hey, Liam can't perform.
But I liked when they said they'd made the decision, fully aware, gave Liam 2 races only to crush his spirit. And I think that is an interesting point. It's a wet race in Australia. It's a sprint race in China. He had never driven on these tracks before. All of this has been said before. But, like, I just think, like, were you ever even gonna let him have the seat? Like, what the fuck even was the point of all of this? Like, it just feels like You're just wasting everybody's time, including Liam's, and including, because Max liked this post, Max's. I can't imagine what it's like for him every fucking weekend, showing up to the paddock, having all the journalists asking him about his teammate, who he doesn't fucking read their contracts. He doesn't fucking know what's going on over there. And every fucking week having a new person in the garage next to him. Like, there is a benefit to having a teammate you can rely on if you're trying to win a world championship. Having somebody who can consistently offer feedback on the car and can offer you a tow in qualifying, who can, like, just generally, like, know how the weekend flows. And if you have a new fucking person next to you every weekend, you're at a disadvantage to somebody like Lando or Charles, who doesn't have that happening. So you already know Max is probably like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. This place is fucking insane. You guys are ruining my fucking vibe. And he thinks it's bullying. Stand up to bullying. Max says end bullying.
Stomp out hate. Max Verstappen.
He's gonna be in one of those little commercials. Say no
to
bullying.
No hate with no hate written on his cheek.
Yeah. No. Shout out. That's what he's going to be doing next week. He's going to be in the paddock being like, no questions from journalists. I'm not interested in bullying.
I will not be a part of your hate campaign.
So what did we get from this segment?
Red Bull, dumb. Yuki, best. Liam, he'll be fine, probs.
He'll be okay, maybe.
He'll have fun. I'm sure. That has to be more fun than being at Red Bull. That's all that matters.
For sure. I'd have more fun. Although Red Bull does have the fancy white livery in Japan. Did it again.
That's a good one. They do have a fancy white livery in Japan. Celebration white. No. Championship white. I said it's the C word. It's called championship white.
Wait, so is only Max going to have it?
No, but that would be funny. That's what Honda calls the white colors, championship white.
Oh, I thought it was like to honor Max's championship. No. And I was like, okay, that's fucking so mean to you guys. Like, this, what did we just say about bullying? That's gonna be really sick. If you're in Japan right now, go ahead and buy all that merch. It's probably gonna be really sick.
But the V carb the Racing Bull is white, so I'm like, I already kind of know what it looks like. I'm like, it'd be cooler if the V carb or the Racing Bull wasn't white.
What if they make the Racing Bull change their color? This is why I think the two team, like the JV varsity dynamic, is so funny, because like I could see them being like, okay, you guys are gonna have to do something different this week because like this is championship white for the champion, that one. So you guys are gonna have to do something different.
Yeah, we can't. One of us is gonna have to change. That's the attitude that Helmut Marko has when he goes into V-Carb to tell them they have to change their livery.
But I'm excited for Suzuka. I think it's a fun race. I think like the vibe, it's like not as bad of a time zone as China. I don't know. That might be a lie. I think it's like the same as Australia, which is like a little bit nicer.
China's like the 3 a.m.
No. I thought it was like 1 a.m. It doesn't even matter. I don't know. I'm still going to have a good time. I think the fans are really cool. They show up with like sick stuff that like we use for like the rest of the year for memes. And by we, I mean like just the F1 community. You know what I mean? They really come into clutch there. They are going to have cute merch. Maybe some cherry blossom stuff. That'd be cute.
I love the cherry blossom stuff. Very Nissan of them.
Hate cherry blossom. I'm starting to hate cherry blossoms though. I live in DC and all these people show up to do the cherry blossoms, and it's like just I don't even know where these people spawn from, but they don't know how to walk not in the middle of the road. They don't know how to not be in my way. They don't know how to not annoy me. And I'm like, listen, the plants are cool, but you gotta leave town. I'm gonna have to ask you to head out.
Plants are cool, but what about me?
Yeah. Have you considered my sanity? Anyways, IndyCar, way more exciting than me talking about Cherry Blossom Festival. What the fuck are they doing over there? Like, I genuinely am like, what's going on? Are we going to be a serious sport, IndyCar? What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to be serious or not? 3 days after the race, were like, Oh, by the way, guys, I'm so sorry. We got some penalties to give out. And it's like, what the fuck have you guys been doing for the last 2 days? Like, you guys do the tech inspection, like, right after the race. I don't really understand why this took 3 days. But anyways, Colton Herta got hit with a 10-point penalty, and his team, Andretti, got hit with a $25,000 fine for failing technical inspection. What did he do?
So it was a safety issue. They have these things. I even Googled what they looked like so I could talk about them. Called the anti-intrusion plates, and basically they're supposed to be 2 on each side, but they were like, what if we only did 1 on each side? And so they're like, hey, remember when we sent out this bulletin in February that said everyone's got to have 2 on each side? So that, and these are a safety things specifically put in place so that drivers don't get impaled during accidents.
Good. Yeah, that's
so good. I was like, so I had a lot of questions immediately. One being why, the second one being, did it make your car faster? The third one being, did the other Andretti cars also do this, or did you guys just decide
Colton could
to do it
if need be?
They're like, yeah, but Colton was really fast, so if he gets, no, it's even like weird to joke about. Why did you do this?
No, I think that they were like, okay, they sat everybody down and they're like, okay, of the 3 Andretti drivers, how are you guys feeling about being impaled? And like, and Kyle and Marcus were like, strong no, very against being impaled, definitely don't want to. And they were like, okay, we'll put 2 on you guys then. Dude. And Colton was like, I'm open.
They didn't even get in trouble for like the safety issue. They simply got in trouble for not abiding by a bulletin that was sent out, which I was like, crazy. That's crazy.
They're like laying down the law at like, you have to read your emails, guys.
That's almost precisely what it was.
But somebody else, what is it with these teams just being like, safety's actually
not flexible. First priority.
We could flex a little bit on the safety stuff, because what the fuck was Robert Schwartzman's team doing?
Dude, Robert can't. Like, I'm starting to feel bad for Robert, and I did not go into this season anticipating to feel bad for anyone involved in Andretti. But as you remember from
Prema. You said Andretti.
Did I say Andretti? Oops, my bad. It's like, why did you make that noise and then say Prema?
I wasn't going to correct you, but then I was like, somebody else.
She said, Prema. That's very Prema of you.
Prema.
It's Prima. So yeah, Prema. As we recall, Thermal also wasn't a good race for him, but specifically, it was practice 1, I think. The car caught on fire. And so they had to uncatch the car on fire. And IndyCar gives them all like a little system that extinguishes the fire. A little sister that extinguishes.
A little girl comes out
with a fire hydrant and is like, hey, you guys can't figure out how to put a car together? You need me to.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a firefighter, like the regular kind, but I'm actually the sister version, so.
Yeah, so they give him one of those. But the fire extinguishing system is, all the cars get it. Like, it's one of the approved pieces from IndyCar. So it's like, we can't change it unless you obviously ask them to change it. But for some reason, Prema was like, no, we need a different fire extinguisher in this car. And so the car lit on fire. They tried to deploy the fire extinguishing system that they put in. Didn't work. And that's how they got caught. Was like, hey, there was an emergency. Car was on fire. Whatever you guys decided to do didn't work. And so now Robert, what is it? What was their penalty?
A stern talking to?
I don't know. I didn't write it down, but it doesn't matter. Like, he's running.
He has zero.
I mean, he's had a total of like 2.5 hours on the track, like during the race weekends, period. Poor kid. And then he nearly gets taken out by Callum Ilott, his teammate.
Yeah.
At Thermal. Like, oh man. Sob story of the season.
eyes on Roman Grosjean. What is he doing?
Where has he been? Where has Roman? Be so honest with us.
They probably tried to put the IndyCar system in, and maybe they like broke it or something on accident, or they couldn't get parts of it, and they're like, it's fine. We have this other thing that we use for like other cars. Like I'm sure like their F2 cars or something have something similar. Like we'll just put this in. Everything will be fine as long as we don't catch on fire. They'll never know.
Yeah, it won't be an issue. Part of me wants to think, I think it's just because in my mind I've made Prema the villain of the season for no reason. No, is fine. That they were like, stupid American fire extinguishing system. We're gonna put in our own and it's gonna be better. It's like, I don't know. What a ridiculous thing to get a penalty for.
You know, Robert also was like, wait, what else are you guys fucking with safety-wise? He's like, I'm not really sure if I want to get in this car again, because he's like going in there being like, how many impaler plates did you guys put in there? Because I heard other teams are doing 1. Something tells me you guys went with 0. So let's get eyes on them.
Put them in at all. But I mean, the radio not working at all, it's like, that's a huge safety thing, to being like, the car's on fire and we can't put it out. Honestly, Robert, retire. Get out of there.
Call it a day, you know? Like, I don't think IndyCar's for you. Is IndyCar for anybody? Because their viewership dropped 50.3% from St. Pete.
To thermal. That number hurts my feelings.
Ooh, that hurted.
And I think there's lots of reasons for it. People talked about the fact, like, 3-week break between the two. That didn't help. The fact that the timing wasn't great because, I mean, Homestead, arguably one of the more fun racetracks. So anybody who watches IndyCar or NASCAR, if you get to choose between thermal or like Homestead Miami, you're going with Homestead Miami.
Nobody fucking cares about thermal already. So why? Okay, so much to unpack here. That should absolutely not be the second race of the season. We just clarified. Nobody gives a fuck about it. Maybe they could put it in between the 500 ovals they do at the end of the season. We could just throw thermal in there as like an easy dub for Alex Palou so that he doesn't get too bummed out on the ovals.
On the ovals.
Yeah. Like, why would you... Okay, you spend all this money building up the St. Pete excitement. Everybody pretty chill with St. Pete. Everybody tuned in. It was a good time. Fuck off for 3 weeks. Don't do shit. Hope you had fun at St. Pete. We're not doing that anytime soon. And then when you do come back, it's like, actually, fuck you again. It's the worst race ever. Everybody hates it.
And they barely advertised for thermal. The race isn't great, even though Graham Rahal kind of was going at journalists on. Did you see that on Twitter?
For hating on thermal?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Which was crazy. But I mean, everyone, he ran pretty well, so I guess maybe that's why he's like, no, yeah, this is a good one. Actually, I like this one a lot.
Definitely stay.
Replace the 500 with thermal, please. The fact that it was at the same time as NASCAR, and something I think they really benefited from with like the $1 Million Challenge last year was like, it was catchy. It was something that people were like, oh, I'm interested at least. But like, even the fans weren't excited for it. All of the IndyCar creators were like, I don't even know if I'm going to tune in. It's like when we go from high of St. Pete to thermal, and then we lose the broadcast for 20 minutes and come back to them doing like funny impersonations on the broadcast. It's like, it's really embarrassing.
When they talk about the viewership loss from St. Pete to thermal, I wonder how that accounts for people that watched the first half of thermal and then when the broadcast cut out, just called it a day.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That number is probably staggering. I think there's a lot of people that, like, maybe of that 50% who stayed from St. Pete, they might not have even stayed for the whole race either. They might have just been like, alrighty, good luck.
I mean, I would have checked out had we not had a podcast where we were going to talk about it later in the day. I would have been like, yeah, especially when you show like a better, and the fact that they didn't cut to like the news or something, they cut to also motorsport racing. That's just like a better product at that moment. It's like everything about it shot themselves in the foot. I'm hoping they can turn it around for Long Beach. But, like, there's been, like, 0 advertisements for Long Beach. Maybe they're going to start in this next week. The most advertisement I've seen for Long Beach is on NASCAR right after they said the NHRA was right after this. And they're like, and also Long Beach is in 2 weeks. That's all I saw.
I also think, like, I do think they need to show an oval earlier in the season too.
100%.
I think that, like, as much as people are like intimidated by ovals, or like if they're like F1 fans, they're like, oh, I don't want to watch an oval. It's like, I think that it's more awe-inspiring to watch an oval race. Like, oh my God, we're actually like weaving through lapped traffic. We're actually like making passes at like an ungodly speed. Whereas like these road courses, there is something to be said of like a lot of these guys are just not good at road courses, I don't think. And you're just going to watch Alex Palou win. So what are we like getting people hooked on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially, I mean, I know that we talk a lot about like F1 fans becoming IndyCar fans, but I think it's more likely that you're going to see a NASCAR fan also watch IndyCar. And the fact that we're having all these road courses and street courses, and they're not like the best street courses at the front, like, or road courses or non-oval courses. I don't know. I'm hoping that just give them 1 year of grace. That's what I've been saying, like with the Fox broadcast and everything, like 1 year of grace. And then next year we're going to have Texas. Maybe we're going to have an oval near the beginning, like in the first, my idea would be like first 3 races we have an oval. Like third race, we have an oval. If you want to do thermal, fine. Do it 2 weeks after whatever you do the opener. Although there is rumor that thermal will either A, not be coming back, or B, they're going to change the layout, which I think we could benefit from. But it's like, it's just, it feels like every year it's the same complaints being like, hey guys, your schedule sucks, your marketing sucks, your broadcast sometimes sucks.
I have like a little weird thing in me where it's like whenever somebody says they don't like a track, I want to like suddenly like it. I'm like, actually, guys, I think
not Las like Vegas other girls.
I think Las Vegas is a pretty fun race. Or like, have we considered that the Roval is actually the best on the NASCAR calendar?
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah. So like, part of me, I'm like, I actually would be, if anybody, the one to be sticking up for thermal. And the fact that my final statement, my final conclusion is, I don't want it on the calendar. It sucks that bad. I think that's a powerful statement. I'm coming forward to say, as the girl who thinks she's not like other girls and likes tracks that everybody else hates, this one's actually really shitty and you should not do it anymore. And especially not in the second race. If you want to fuck around for $1 million, like, I guess you can do that. I don't really care. But it's not a race. It's fake.
No. And the fans can't go. It's just a bunch of rich people. For some reason, we didn't talk about this last week, but it was very important to me. Jack Harvey did the broadcast in one of the practices inside of someone's house. He was like, they let me onto their back deck, and I'm just going to do the broadcast from here. And I was like, Jack, you got to get out of that. Jack, stop walking into people's houses. Next thing you know, they're going to be at Mid-Ohio, and he's going to be like, I'm inside of somebody's house. Nowhere near the track, but I am in Ohio.
I'm just in the middle of Ohio. Literally mid-Ohio.
Literally. But yeah, so that's our statement on thermal, I guess. Or, yeah, just on IndyCar as a shit show in general.
Our statement is supported by facts and numbers. Everybody else hated it too.
Yeah.
So, NASCAR. We were in Martinsville this week.
Wow.
I was getting flashbacks to Christopher Bell. I was getting scary flashbacks. I was thinking, nobody get even close to that wall, guys. I can't do this anymore. Don't even fucking look at the wall. Don't even get near it. And that's just unfortunate because I think it'd be fun if we could just let people, like, wouldn't it be fun if on the last lap, like, they just took away the rule and everybody knows what works. So on the last lap, you have like 6 people wall riding.
It would make for an interesting strategy. That's for sure.
I think it'd be really funny. But anyways, another thing about Martinsville, everybody talks about these hot dogs. I was very confused by them. Taylor Kitchen from Above the Yellow Line, she cleared up my confusion. I had some other people show some stuff with the hot dogs. I didn't know if they were just like exceptionally good, and that's why everybody talked about them. I didn't know if it was because they were cheap. But then I landed on a third thing along the way. And I think you share this with me. They're red. Why are they red? What makes them that color? And people are like, oh, they're called like, this is a thing on the East Coast. Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't care. Why is it red? How did it achieve that color? That's what I'm wondering about. Did they dye it?
They had to have. Well, you can tell that they dyed it because, like, and the one, I don't know if it was Taylor who showed it or if it was Emily.
It was Emily
but, like,
who showed it.
The red didn't go all the way in. So the hot dog is not red. Something has made the hot dog red.
And then it was, like, on her bun. Like, red dye.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend any. It's also $2.50, which I understand is like a good price for something that's edible, especially in these days and times. If it is $2.50 and also like a neon red, maybe unless it's like hot tamales or something, do not eat it. Like, stay away from that.
Wait, what if it was like it's actually just like Taki, dipped in Taki dust?
Oh, well,
then
that would be fine. But you'd have to advertise it, or else I'm not going to feel safe nor comfortable while putting that hot dog in my mouth. Also, did you watch, this might have been before you tuned in, but they did a hot dog segment, and one of the broadcasters was really weird about the hot dogs and just like refused to eat it, and then at the end he ate it, but he ate it sideways. Did you see that?
No, and thank goodness.
He was so adamant about, like, he was, like, playing it off like he was going to eat it, and then he got called out by everyone else on the broadcast, and you could see in his face that he did not want to eat that hot dog. And I think he has the same sentiment as us, which is like, why is it red? Why does it look like that? And why was it only $2.50?
Yeah. No, and I think we should, honestly, another controversial statement from the Lap Sound podcast today. I don't think we should shame people that don't want to eat the Martinsville hot dog. I think it's great as like a tradition, and if you want to be hype about the Martinsville hot dog, I think that is so cool for you. If me and MJ are at Martinsville and we don't want to eat the hot dog, you guys are just going to have to live with that. And everybody else is going to have to let the broadcaster not eat it if he doesn't want to. No more pressuring people into red hot dogs. I think it's asking too much. Some people are weird about red dye 40. I'm not, but some people are.
Yeah, I just think don't red dye 40 anything that doesn't need to be red dye 40'd.
No meat.
The color of a hot dog is like fine. Like,
it's just, that's the color of
if that's the thing that's going to turn me away from eating a hot dog, and we all know what hot dogs are. Like, if the redness is gonna be the deterrent, don't add it.
Right. No, that's so
of a hot dog. That's what's gonna stop me from eating it.
I'll fuck up a brat, though. I don't really eat hot dogs, but I love a good brat. A bratwurst.
Well, that's bougie. That's too bougie for what we're going for.
God.
You're never going to get a brat for $2.50.
I just outed myself as a city girl on our pod. I'm sorry, guys.
Say,
y'all
brat is pretty.
A jalapeno cheddar brat. Ugh,
I'm not arguing. Those are good. They're just not recession food.
This is a recession indicator. You guys obsessing over the Martinsville hot dog is a recession indicator.
But it is.
Speaking of red hot, let's talk about a red hot dumpster fire.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, girl.
We're rocking with it. So the Xfinity race I had a great time watching it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a messy bitch. I thought it was really funny to watch. I thought I was having a great time. I think I was the only one. Everybody else got like on their moral high ground after the Xfinity race. I didn't get that vibe, and it was too late. And then I'd already decided I had enjoyed watching it. And then all the commentators were like, this is not real racing. This is really fucked up, and we should never do this again. This is a sad time for the organization. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. Sorry. I thought it was a little fun. But if you guys didn't watch the Xfinity race, basically on the last lap, Sammy Smith had, what's his name? Gray, right? Last name Gray? Yeah. First name starts with a T. I don't know, guys.
Taylor?
I'm literally just there to watch Connor Zilic. Don't fuck with me.
Same.
On the last lap, Sammy Smith
thought, what if I just bump him a little bit so he crashes on the last lap and doesn't win the race? In the process, also spun himself out, which I was like, now
also
it's
didn't
just
win the race.
Embarrassing. Yeah, it's like, now you just did all that. Like, at least if he would have won, he could have like talked shit and been like, that's just what you got to do to win the race.
Make those moves.
But instead, Austin Hill won from like, I think on the restart he was in like 7th. Okay, so what does that tell you about how this race went? Everybody just was eating shit, and then Austin Hill just like around all of them, and he ended up also winning $100,000 because of the Dash for Cash, and then it was also like the 100th win for like RCR Racing and Xfinity or something. I was like, okay, this is just a lie. He's like celebrating everything while everybody else is in shambles. But yeah, the broadcasters in the Cup race just start like having like, it wasn't even a discussion. They were all in agreement with each other. They were all just like shaming the Xfinity organization essentially. And I was like, this is insane to hear. Some of the quotes you wrote down was, Sammy Smith should have been launched to at least last position. Like, at least last position.
At least last. If not more.
Mike Joy said, I'm sorry I said the Xfinity series was a dumpster fire. It's not. A dumpster fire is contained in that series is not right now.
Crazy to say that.
They were like actually so mad. They were like not even commentating on the race. They got so distracted talking about the Xfinity race. And then you sent me Jeff Gluck tweeted like, of course the race ended that way. Like, that is not what we want to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, and they brought up a good point that like on the commentators, they were talking about the drivers are under the impression that the fans like to see rough racing like that. So they will like continue to do it because they don't see the repercussions as like a deterrent. They're like, okay, I'll get a little penalty or something, and maybe I won't even win the race. But like, at least I showed some grit. Like, the fans like to see that. I mean, I think I didn't mind seeing it because I don't care about any of these drivers except for Connor Zilic. Yeah. But if somebody would have done that to Connor Zilic, I think I would have
lost your mind.
Drove to Martinsville and I would have handled it. I would have been like, point me in the fucking direction of Sammy Smith. I'm about to find him. But because like I don't care about, and Connor was already out at that point because everybody else had already been a dumbass and ran into him as per every Xfinity. That's the thing about Xfinity races. Everybody's just got to crash into Connor. Crash into somebody else and I won't care.
It's Xfinity is such a mess. They just don't seem to have any rules in place where there are those repercussions. I started watching NASCAR, was it Atlanta last year? Oh, now I'm iffy. And the reason I got into NASCAR is because on that last lap, Ross Chastain did that. Like, he wrecked people out and I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. That's insane. Because it was my first time ever experiencing anything in NASCAR. And then I was like, hey, this shit's crazy. That being said, now that I I actually care about, like, what happens in the NASCAR races, like, kind of like what you were saying, like, with Xfinity, I don't care as much. I would be pissed if I saw that happen. I'd be like, what's the point? But I think Xfinity just doesn't have any of those rules. The fact that we're not already being like, okay, well, we know that from this happening before this person got, like, this penalty or whatever, and the fact that Sammy Smith came on afterwards and was just like, yeah, sometimes you gotta do that, you know, racing hard. That's what the people like to see. It just shows that it's a little bit of I don't think the people like to see that. I don't think anyone was enjoying Martinsville for the racing last night.
I think it was more of just like, I was like, you know, on the last lap, like, he was starting to pull away and I was like, okay, clearly we have a winner here. Mm-hmm. The only way he wouldn't win is if somebody did something really fucking stupid.
Right.
And then they did that. And I just kind of was like, that was insane. Like, that was what went through your brain in that moment. But up to that point, I was a little annoyed with the Xfinity race in Martinsville. And the same thing happened in the Cup race. It does get to a point, people, when we're on like the 12th caution, where it's like, I'm going to need you guys to fucking drive on the road. Okay? 10-2, eyes ahead of you, please. Like, let's clock in and drive like professionals. I sound like Tyler Reddick on the radio. He came in at one point. He's like, are we going to do any green laps or is it just going to be caution laps?
After he like purposely just caused a caution.
It's like that meme of that guy in the hot dog costume. He's like, we're trying to figure out who did this.
We're not going to be mad.
But
just come forward.
I think I was annoyed because it was like Connor was in all of the crashes in the Xfinity race. But I did get to the point where I was like, oh my God, like, please just drive, everybody. Like, we don't need to do this. But I guess that's just how Martinsville is. I don't know.
We've kind of seen that with every Xfinity race, though, where there's like
they're not even
dumbass.
driving.
Yeah. And I think there's like really talented drivers in Xfinity, and they're getting wrecked by people who are wrecking people on purpose. It's just like, at a certain point, it's like, you're not making a good product, and none of these drivers can showcase how good they are, besides like the obvious ones. So like, they're not going anywhere. And then they get into Cup Series and they start to drive like that. And it's like, hey, Ty Gibbs, you can't just run into the back of someone when you're angry every time you're angry.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? What if we keep Xfinity, but we just like add rules?
I think they need, honestly, you'll never hear me say this in my fucking life, okay? It's just for this. They need like a super license system or something. Some of you need to lose your license. Like, you can't do this. Like, because there's like, I'm admitting my bias here. But I'm like, there's some really good drivers out there. Like, you have that Love guy, you have Connor Zillage, you have like these young guys who are actually trying to like show that they have skill and like could drive in the Cup Series. And like you said, they're literally being crashed out by randos every weekend. Like, they're literally can't even operate their vehicle unless they're in first place, because if they're in any place lower than that, they're by some rando who's going to crash into them.
Yeah. And there's zero repercussions for some of these like tomfooleries that are happening. Yeah. Just, you have to deter them from wanting to do that. Because, like, obviously they're not going to end up winning the series. They're probably not going to make it to playoffs. So, like, yeah, if they dick around, try to make a move, and end up crashing the entire field, what's the harm for them? Nothing. Yeah. Like, put some rules in there, NASCAR. Open the Google Doc. Get to it.
And I'll admit, this guy didn't do anything wrong. I'm just using this as an example. I found out this weekend there is a full-blown optical surgeon who drives halftime in Xfinity.
Yeah.
He has a whole separate occupation of operating on people's eyeballs. And yet he's driving next to like people who are trying to actually make this their career and like are trying to be serious NASCAR drivers here. I'm not saying that guy didn't crash into anybody. I'm just using it as an example. Some of you are not serious people and you should not have a super license. So you're done. I'm sorry. You can't drive anymore. Go to ARCA or something. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's a...
So we have the Cup race. Do we want to talk about Ryan Blaney? Is he still cursed by a witch?
Something, right? Something.
Right.
They were talking on the broadcast. They're like, Ryan Blaney was favored this week. I was like, who was favoring him? I have him. He's not even on my top 25. I'm like, there's no way, dude.
I took him off my fantasy. I couldn't deal with him anymore.
I paid to get his ass off my fantasy is what I did. I was like, there's no way. Penske hasn't changed anything, frankly. No. Although, to be fair, all the Penskes did like, well, no. Never mind. I take it back. I was going to say they all did well this weekend.
Where is Roger?
Roger's,
where are you?
He's still at the Thermal Club.
Because we had Ryan Blaney do nothing this weekend. We had Joey Logano. He stayed out to win stage 2. Was in a good spot. This is your notes.
Yes.
And then he
yeah,
he got hit by Chase and hit the wall. I mean, I guess it's not his fault. Can we blame
No, but he was in
Penske?
Sure. He was in a good position to, I mean, I was like, oh my God, are we going to see Joey Logano win? And then someone dicked around, sent him to 25th. He did make it back up to 8th at the end, but like.
And then the commentators, like, I'm sorry, they like know how to kick you while you're down. Like, this is actually the worst, most pathetic fuck-ass start of any reigning champion in the first 6 races. Isn't that funny and so cool?
Dude.
I was like, guys.
Brutal.
he actually, like, Joey Logano is, like, trying. He, like, leads a lot of laps. He wins stages. Like, he's out here fucking trying. But Penske curse. And then you have Austin Cindric. I don't even know what happened to him. They just were, like, wheeling him off. I was like, hello? And they were like, oh, battery dead.
Yeah, he had a battery issue.
I've never heard of that happening. What's going on?
Is
that even a thing?
He had a battery issue earlier in the race, like Josh Berry did, like stage 1 situation. Although Josh Berry's was Bubba's fault. Anyways.
Yeah, we'll talk about Josh Berry's.
But he had a battery issue. They changed the battery. He later had a similar battery issue with whatever, and they were like, "Oh, Penske's actually out of battery, so you gotta get off the track because we don't have any more batteries for you." I'm like, I've never heard that you could just run fucking batteries.
I could go to AutoZone right now and get a spare. If you would have told me we only had one left, I could have went to AutoZone and got us a spare.
DoorDash one. I don't know. Figure it out.
We gotta be able to figure this out. Oh my god.
Was just...
that is such like that's like a Williams moment. Penske is like the Williams of fucking NASCAR right now. What do you mean you don't have enough batteries? Next they're gonna be like, sorry, we're out of chassis.
We have no tires. We don't have any gas.
So messy. Okay, Josh Berry. I don't think it was Bubba's fault. If you don't want your battery to get hit, don't put it somewhere that's so easy to hit.
That's insane. I can't believe you would say that about my favorite driver, Josh Berry.
I can't believe you would blame this on my favorite driver, Bubba Wallace.
It was Bubba's fault. It was Bubba's fault. He should have checked. They don't have mirrors. He should have checked through the window and seen. Do they have mirrors on the side of the car?
I don't think they do. They should get those probably.
Well, no, I don't think they should. With how much they touch. I just realized that the other day. I was like, oh, they don't even have. How do they see anything?
Wait, do they have one of those mirrors like there where you can like look up and see who's
Yeah. They have that one, but they don't have like the side ones because obviously they're rubbing and racing, so like you can't.
When I drive, I don't look in my mirrors either. I just look at that one up there and I see if somebody's behind me.
I almost never look into this one. I only look into the side mirrors.
I don't even know if my side mirrors are like properly adjusted for me.
You're like, I don't even know if my car has side mirrors.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Don't take my advice about driving. But Josh Berry pulled in the pit lane, as one does. Bubba pulled out of the pit lane, as one does.
Literally not going to put this on Josh Berry.
I'm not saying it's either of their fault. I'm actually saying, again, it's Penske's fault because they built Josh Berry's car in the Penske garage and they made his battery so easy to hit.
That's actually a really good point. Roger, I'll be awaiting a response.
Where are you? Why do you not have like the armored vehicle version of a battery? Like why'd you make it so easy to hit?
Why'd you make it? Yeah, why would you put it there? Also, not at all where I thought the battery was when they were talking about it. Right. I was like, hey.
I was like, it's just like...
They're like, when they first said it, I thought they said it as a joke. When they were like, oh, it's probably because Bubba hit him. I was like, that's like when there's a minor inconvenience for me. And I was like, yeah, no, everything's wrong because this little thing happened. Sure. I was like, yeah, stop making fun of Josh Berry. And then they're like, yeah, they hit him actually right where the battery was. And I was like, put it there. Why did you put it there? Put it somewhere else.
So... actually not Bubba's fault. And it's also not Josh Berry's fault. And I'm sorry that happened to him. Ty Gibbs, what is he doing out there? What's going on?
He was doing fine. He was doing really, really well. Although the past few weeks, not very well. We kind of were having the conversation again about him possibly being washed. But I was like, I mean, okay, who cares? I don't know. His name is on the team. Like, his last name is a part of the team. I don't care if he's washed or not. They're not going to put anyone else in there. But he was doing really well for a hot minute. He was running in the top. I remember writing it down and circling it and going, like, woohoo, right next to it. Up at P3 for a little bit. That was fun. And then Tyler Reddick, stage 3. He was running so well, and we got the information that while he was running so well, his cooling system had just gone to shit. So it's like pumping, as they were explaining it, like hot water instead of cold water through his like little outfit just the whole time. I would have passed away, I think. I think my body would, as soon as I get like a little warm, my body's like, you have to stop doing what you're doing, I think. So kudos to him for running in the top 3 with zero coolness.
I need one of those for like, instead of like a heating pad, like when you have cramps, you could just have one of those shirts with hot water pumping through it. I mean, like, this is why you need women watching NASCAR. Like, I'm
true.
Hearing,
Sell that.
I'm hearing great fucking ideas. Sorry for Ty Gibbs, but great for me. I'm
great for us.
In one of those. But then they were talking about like, oh, just like unplug it and shit, and then like drain it. Are they just draining the water like just into the car?
I think it goes like through the system. Like it wasn't just gonna go on the floor. I think it was gonna like
in my head
continue.
He's like literally trying to drive, trying to not crash the car, like, and then he's just like dumping water all over the car. Hot water. And he's like, right, okay. So now I'm honestly boiling like a little pasta noodle.
With as much as I know about how a car works in NASCAR, I just found out where the battery was. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like 2 tons of water just floating at the bottom at this point. Like, I don't know. He couldn't get that fixed. And then almost 100 laps to go, and he's in P11, gets spun by Tyler Reddick. Hell yeah. We had Tyler on Ty Crime. Mm-hmm. That was great. And then, yeah, he just could never get back to where he was. Ended up P13. But best finish of the season, so I guess that's great. And he was gonna, what did he say? I should have written down what he said specifically about Tyler Reddick, but he's like.
Something about him being little.
Yeah, he said like, he called him like a little fucker or something. He's like, I hope I don't see that little fucker after the race. And I was like, what are you gonna do, Ty? Be so real with me right now. You guys are, first of all, same size. Second of all.
2 shortest people, like just being like, actually, you're little. I'm not.
I was like, of all the things you could say, okay. But they did have a little bit of a heated conversation after, but I don't think anyone punched anybody, so it wasn't really much to talk about, I guess.
They didn't give it much camera time.
No.
Speaking of monster cars struggling, actually, he wasn't even in a monster car this week. So
no, he was in a nicotine car.
Oh, fuck yeah. Austin Cindric just like, wow, I was just trying to show support to the nicotine community.
Nicotine community.
That's really sick. I love nicotine. Anyways, I'm just kidding. I don't. Austin Cindric just like looked at Riley and was like, okay, so we're 3 wide. One of us is going to have to go. And I choose Riley. And he just like ruined his weekend.
It wasn't even during when they were 3 wide. They went 3 wide. They kind of pushed Riley up into the wall. So if anything, I was like, if I was Riley, I'd be a little pissed. And then after they were done going 3 wide, it was just Riley and Austin. Austin was like, hey, yo, fuck you.
No, he literally, I think Austin treats other people like it is a GTA game. Like, he literally is like, get out of the way. Bye. You're in my way. Like, I can't be doing this right now. And he literally will just like ruin anybody's fucking race. And then what I love about him, he doesn't see anything wrong with it either. And honestly, neither does NASCAR. Because they'll just be like, well, that was Riley. And Riley doesn't seem that upset about it. So if he's not even that upset about it, we're just going to have to not give him a penalty. They're like, Riley's really upset about it. And you're like, I can't hear you. Sorry.
I can't hear you over me not doing anything about this.
Because isn't that what they said? In Coda, they were like, he knocked somebody. And they were like, well, they weren't even going that fast.
It was too slow to be a danger. I was like, okay, that's actually never how the rules work. That's crazy.
I think I'm starting to love how Austin Cindric can like literally actually get away with murder. Like he does not 100% get in trouble for anything, and I think that's so funny. He's just like using his Penske privilege. He's like, sorry, you're gonna have to move, Riley. I'm trying to drive here. Bye. Smell you later. And then Chris Buescher. Normally, I don't pay much attention to Chris Buescher, okay? I love the guy in his little applesauce car. This week, he had a sick taco car. I thought that was really cool.
That was
Unfortunately,
cool.
I was seeing the taco car a lot more than I normally see his car on the radio or on the screen because like he didn't get much airtime. But today, he just hit the wall a little bit right in front of Carson Hocevar, and I was like, all right, it's okay. Get back out there. You can You can do this, buddy. Like, don't let it get you down. And then later on, I just saw him like run over Noah Gregson's wheel. And Noah Gregson like actually kind of like bumped him in return and was like, fuck you. And I was like, whoa. And then the commentators, again, there's certain people that can get away with murder. They're like, normally you don't see Chris Buescher like all riled up like that. And usually if he is, he's in the right. I was like, no, guys, I think he was in the wrong twice today. But I think they were just blinded by his sick taco car. I don't know.
I get it. You want me to be mad at him? You want me to be mad at him while he was in that taco car? Although Noah Gragson was in the A&W car, hell yeah. That may be the only car I would defend from the taco car.
Fuck it. Get me some old El Paso tortilla tacos and a cold A&W. And that's a dinner right there.
That's a very dinner. Midwest dinner.
Yeah.
It's like white people tacos and a root beer float.
White people taco night. We're talking ground turkey or beef, depending on how healthy you're trying to be. A standard issue Myers, Kroger's, whatever store of your choice, generic brand taco seasoning packet. Mm-hmm. Right on there. I'm talking shredded Mexican cheese. Chunky salsa in a jar.
Right?
And I don't know, maybe a little lettuce, tomato if you're crazy. And how are you heating up those tortillas? In the microwave.
I don't think I've ever heated up a tortilla.
That's even more Midwest white people. You don't even heat up the tortillas. You're cooking with gas.
Yeah, the way God intended them, straight from the cupboard to the table.
Yeah, love a good white people taco night with a root beer. Hell yeah. Anyways, is that all we got on NASCAR?
NASCAR, I think so. Next week we're at, I don't know.
Darlington.
Oh yeah, they're doing all the little throwbacks. I haven't, full transparency, have not kept up on the throwbacks. I plan on consuming them all at once and then figuring out what they're a throwback to, because I've only been watching for a year and a half.
Maybe that's what we should do on our live, is talk about all the throwback paint jobs that are out there.
Oh, that could be fun. Yeah.
We're doing a live on TikTok, guys, on probably Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We can
in the eve.
Keep an eye out for a graphic, but we're going to just talk about some of the midweek news stuff that we don't get to talk about on the pod because we film on Sundays and we have to like recap the race. So maybe we'll talk about that. I love something else I love about the NASCAR community is the people that are really invested into like how the cars look. Like they have so many opinions on like the paint and like what the design of the car is and like what the reference, they're like talking like references, you know what I mean? Like instead of like fashion girlies who are like, this is actually a vintage Versace 1988. No, they're talking references of like old cars and they're like really throwing it back there. And I really admire it and I wish I could be them.
It's so fun, especially like the way that they talk about fonts. Have you heard someone go on like, be like, well, we saw this font last in 1962 on this car. I was like, how do you do that? How do you, like, it's truly amazing. And it's, for the most part, I feel like it's pretty wholesome. Like, there's never anyone sending death threats over.
No, like, the worst that they'll say is like, they'll be like, I don't like this, but I already have a die cast on the way for it. You know what I mean? Like, they're very unserious about not liking it.
But it's
like,
Alex Bowman, so I had to get it. Hell yeah.
I love it. I wish I could be them. We still haven't decided what our first diecast is going to be. You and I have thrown around some ideas of like, is this going to be our first one? Like we see something that's really good. I want one that has like confetti on it. I like it when the diecast people, they show their little cars.
The confetti's really cute. I just fear really that, like I would want to get it for like a driver I like. And I don't tend to like drivers who win. Yeah, so mine might be confetti-less. Maybe that's something I add at home in a little bit of a DIY situation. But that Tootsie livery ain't coming home with a...
with the confetti. That'd be so cute. It's like a little do-it-yourself. You have like the little Mod Podge and you're like...
Yeah, I'm like putting them on individually. That could be fun.
Yeah, it could be fun. Yeah, I like that idea. We have a dream that someday Lapsdown will have a studio and we'll have like one of those giant die cast walls We have like a bunch of NASCAR creators that we watch. Just know if you're a NASCAR content creator, we've talked about your diecasts. We've talked about them. We've talked about them. We've decided whether or not we envision that diecast in our collection someday. We like how some of you guys, you have little shelves for your diecasts.
I like that.
I think that's really darling.
I don't like it though when they're in the case because I feel like they can't breathe. I'm like, don't put them back there. Because one, it makes me want to touch them because I like immediately am not allowed to touch them. And two, I'm like, let them get a little air, you know?
Yeah. So watch out for the live. Maybe we'll talk about that. We also have on here just some extra stuff. Oh, go ahead.
Should we do our fan favorite?
Oh, fuck. I almost forgot.
I was going to see how long you were going to go. It's the first thing on our doc, and it's in all caps, but maybe we should highlight it for next week.
Well, last week I put in the notes fan favorite. You forget this whole podcast is going to go to shit, you little bitch.
Yeah, you did put like a little bit of a threatening message there.
And it was for me because I read the doc.
Yeah, so
it wasn't for MJ, guys. Don't be worried. Do you have a fan favorite? I have one.
Okay, you go first.
Mine is like a subtle thing. It was not like out in the open. You know what I mean? Oh, did we even mention Denny Hamlin won the race? Denny Hamlin won the race, and he did a cool burnout at the end.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin did win the race.
And we actually
Christopher Bell got second.
We actually loved Denny, and Bubba Wallace got
third.
It was actually like three of our favorite drivers. 1, 2, 3'd.
Right. We didn't even mention that. I didn't even write that in the doc. I was like, that's so unimportant. Nobody's going to care. God dang. One of these days, we're going to be such a good podcast. Just give us guys, please just give us a little bit longer, please.
You got to stick around, please. Okay, my fan favorite, it was a subtle thing, but I really liked how SVG commented on Liam Lawson's really sad Instagram post. Liam Lawson, fuck this dude. It was the saddest Instagram I've ever seen. It was like him as like a little baby. And it was like a little worksheet, and he wrote that he wanted to be a Formula 1 driver when he grew up. I'm like, you're still a Formula 1 driver. It's just at V-Carb. Like, it's going to be okay.
You'll be okay.
SVG wrote in the comments, prove him wrong. And I just think that, A, I love motorsports crossovers. B, they're like little hometown buddies, and I think that that's very sweet. And C, I just think that that's like a message that it actually is like a reflection of how SVG is feeling at the moment. I think he's been having a really tough go at things with just like wheels not really operating on his vehicle, as in sometimes they fall off, sometimes they just lose all air. And sometimes both of those will happen in the same race. And I just think that that's a really hard thing for him to overcome. And I think that it's a reflection of how he feels, that he needs to prove everybody wrong.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. I don't think I have a good one. I wasn't really on social media this week. My gut instinct, because I'm still on this campaign of Ryan Preece. I'm still on the Ryan Preece campaign. And I saw... There were a few TikTok clips I saw where he was being interviewed, and someone asked him, I think was it the Barstool? Large Barstool asked him, and once again, zero context. He asked Ryan Preece if he got into a Mexican bar fight after winning in Mexico, and he had to defend Christopher Bell, zero context for why we were defending Christopher Bell. What other NASCAR driver would he choose? And I have to be honest, I don't even know if I listened to Ryan Preece's answer. I think I immediately just sent it to you and was like, what?
I think he said that he's like a big guy who looks intimidating. And I was like,
which is absolutely
Ryan
not
Preece
true.
Look intimidating? I don't think so.
He looks like easily the nicest. I was going to say, I would approach him out of almost anyone on the grid. Like, that looks like a nice fella.
And then the worst part is he goes, and somebody else who looks big and intimidating is Chris Buescher, so I'd probably pick him.
Crazy. Which is also arguably not true. I would say maybe those are the two like kindest looking guys. That is so funny. So I'm gonna say Ryan. He also did really well this weekend, and he was on my fantasy, and he was my multiplier.
Same. Wait, no, that means you're beating me then. Oh, no.
I'm absolutely beating you. I'm not. Hey guys. I'm doing so well in fantasy NASCAR, but I spend a lot of time looking at things.
I don't.
Am I still winning? What's the T?
Even worse. He wasn't my multiplier. Michael McDowell was my multiplier.
Oh, no. That sucks. Can't relate.
Fuck. And Tyler Reddick.
So
I'm going to need you to step it up, buddy. I've had Tyler Reddick contract. I'm just going to show the screen for our non-audio listeners. I've had him locked in a very long-term contract that has been absolutely not in the slightest paying off.
That's crazy.
I just kept thinking he's got to win one of these, right?
What's going to happen is like there's after you do however many races you contract them for, there's like a 1 week lockout. That's going to be the race he wins.
I don't think I'm paying for him. He's $27 million. I'm not doing that. He's too expensive for that shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk about some of this other extra stuff that we have more in depth on the live. But we also put that everybody in motorsports is hating on carrot cake. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the live. We'll save that for the live. And we'll also talk about vlogging. Maybe we can talk about who's doing it good, who's doing it bad. I will say, I saw Daniel Suarez naked again.
No, Daniel, please keep your clothes on. I saw him in a taco outfit.
Oh, I didn't see that.
A full taco outfit. Yeah, I think his wife paid him $100 to wear it to the track, and he was like, okay.
They're rich. Why are they doing that?
Well, I was like, yeah, he'd probably do it for free, but he was like, yeah, I'll do it for $100. I think at first he said $10, and she's like, I'll give you $100. He was like,
yeah,
sick.
This is weird negotiating tactics. And everybody in the comments was like, send this to Alex Bowman. It was just like a clip of Daniel Suarez again, pantsless. And everybody's like,
Daniel.
send this to Alex Bowman. So we'll talk about that in the live. Unless you want to talk about it right now. What do you want to say?
No, that's fine.
Okay. But, I guess that's everything. It's a pretty hefty episode. Pretty fun one. I'd say we giggled.
I giggled, for sure.
Did you guys giggle? Leave a comment if you giggled.
1 like equals 1 giggle.
Okay, we should wrap it up. This is spiraling. I could feel the spiral happening. Anywho,
yeah.
Smell you guys later. See you guys next week. Next week I'll be 26.
Yeah, Andrea's birthday is on
Thursday.
Friday. Frick. I don't know. It's on the 4th.
You know who else's birthday's on the 4th?
Who?
The guest of our last lap traffic that you guys should go watch.
Wow. I'm not sure I'm convinced that you guys aren't twins.
Never seen us in the same room.
That's not twins.
Wait, what? Okay.
I've never seen you in the same room. Goodbye.
As if twins have like a restraining order that can't be. What if we just start telling twins like it's too confusing for you guys?
You guys can't be in the same place. Only one of you has to leave. Oh my god.
Okay, bye.